What is anemia? This is the important definition which all of you should know. Anemia is defined as a reduction in hemoglobin concentration below the level which is expected for healthy persons of same age and sex and in the same environment. So you should learn this definition by heart. So how do we classify anemia? Classification of anemia is also a very commonly asked question for your exam. So there are two ways by which we can classify anemia. One is the etiological classification and the other is morphological classification. So etiological classification is done in three ways. One is anemia, which occurs due to decreased production of RBCs. Next is anemia due to increased destruction. So either we have a decreased production or we have a increased destruction. And the third is anemia due to blood loss. So under anemia due to decreased production of RBCs, it may be due to nutritional causes like iron deficiency anemia or megaloblastic anemia due to deficiency of vitamin B12 or folic acid. And also we have anemia of chronic disease, sideroblastic anemia, aplastic anemia, anemia of chronic renal failure, and anemia due to infiltration by malignant cells. The next is anemia which occurs due to increased destruction. Destruction means there is hemolysis. Hemolysis of RBC, which we commonly say hemolytic anemia. And this may be hereditary or acquired. Hereditary is of three types. It can occur by defect in the cell membrane as occurs in hereditary spherocytosis. The next is when there is a defect in hemoglobin as occurs in sickle cell disease, thalassemia and hemoglobin E disease. And another is when there is the defect in the enzymes. There are some enzymes in the RBCs. So for example, the glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, when there is a deficiency of that enzyme, we have anemia due to hereditary cause. And in the acquired causes, we will have autoimmune hemolytic anemia, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, hemolytic transfusion reaction, hemolytic disease of newborn, mechanical hemolytic anemia, hypersplenism, and malaria. And the third, as I said, anemia due to acute blood loss, which occurs in trauma, gastrointestinal bleed, or during child delivery. So this is the etiological classification, which is also a very important exam question. In macrocytic anemia, we will find that the classification of anemia according to morphology is very important. So how do we classify anemia morphologically? Morphology means structure. So structurally, how do we classify? There are three types. One is normocytic normochromic, microcytic hypochromic, and the third is macrocytic hypochromic. Morphological classification is based on the red cell size and hemoglobin content in case of anemia. So red cell indices, we have MCV, MCH. I think you are familiar with these terms. So MCV, that is mean cell volume, is very useful for classifying anemia according to morphology. Like microcytic, macrocytic, and normocytic. So micro means small. When the RBC size is small, we say microcytic. When the RBC size is large, we say macrocytic, and normocytic means the size of RBC, that is 7 to 8 microns, which is normal. We say it is normocytic. So as today's topic is macrocytic anemia, we will discuss mainly about it. So macrocytic anemia is the anemia which is present when the MCV is more than 100 femtoliters and MCHC is 30 to 35 grams per dl. So macrocytic anemia can be megaloblastic or it can be non-megaloblastic. So megaloblastic anemia occurs due to folate or vitamin B12 deficiency. And the non-megaloblastic causes of macrocytic anemia are alcoholism, liver disease, hemolytic anemia, myelodysplastic syndrome, and hypothyroidism. So what is MCV? MCV is a measure of average size of RBC. So how do we calculate MCV? MCV is calculated by the formula packed cell volume, which is expressed in percentage divided by RBC in million per cubic millimeter, and the value is multiplied by 10. So this is measured by automated instruments which we have in our laboratory, and MCV is expressed in femtoliter. Femtoliters, and the normal MCV is 80 to 100 femtoliters. So what are the causes of increased MCV? So MCV is increased in megaloblastic anemia and the non-megaloblastic macrocytic conditions like chronic alcoholism, liver disease, hypothyroidism, pregnancy, reticulocytosis. And also we find that the MCV is raised in newborns. Now there is another index which we call MCH, that is mean cell hemoglobin. So it is calculated by the formula hemoglobin in grams per dl divided by the RBC count into 10. So MCH is expressed in picograms and the normal MCH is 27 to 32 picograms. So MCH is decreased in microcytic hypochromic anemia, but it is increased in macrocytic anemia and also in newborns. So macrocytic anemias, these are characterized by large RBCs with a diameter of more than 9 microns and the corpuscular volume is more than 100 femtoliters. So as I said that the causes of macrocytic anemia can be divided into megaloblastic and non-megaloblastic types depending on the precursors which appear in the bone marrow. So the erythroid precursors in the bone marrow, they are called megaloblast. And the red blood cells in the peripheral blood smear are also larger than normal. So in the RBC, when it is in the peripheral blood, the large RBCs, we call them as macrocytes. And in the bone marrow, we term the erythroid precursors as megaloblast. So what is the characteristic features of a megaloblast? Megaloblast is larger in size than normoblast and the nuclear chromatin material is open and sieve-like. The nuclear maturation lags behind the cytoplasmic maturation and the marrow shows increased proportion of primitive erythroid cells. So what are the causes of megaloblastic anemia and the microcytic RBCs? So megaloblastic anemia is commonly due to deficiency of folic acid or vitamin B12, which are coenzymes which are required for synthesis of nucleotide bases in DNA, most commonly thymidine. So deficiency of vitamin B12 or folic acid causes defect in the DNA synthesis and delayed or arrested nuclear maturation. Synthesis of RNA and protein is normal, resulting in cytoplasmic maturation. So the cytoplasmic maturation is normal because the RNA synthesis and protein synthesis is normal. But the DNA synthesis, there is a defect. So the nuclear maturation, as in the previous slide, it lags behind the cytoplasmic maturation. So the nuclear maturation lags behind the cytoplasmic maturation, and hemoglobinization of cytoplasm continues for a long time. It results in abnormal cell proliferation of dividing cells in the bone marrow. All the three series. So in the bone marrow, we will find erythroid series, myeloid series, and also megakaryocyte, that is the platelet series. So there is abnormal cell proliferation in all the three series. So impaired DNA synthesis causes delay in cell division, increased time between the divisions, more cell growth and size of the cells. So in erythroid series, this nuclear to cytoplasmic asynchrony results in formation of large nucleated erythrocyte precursors, which are known as megaloblast. So the megaloblast, they have open chromatin which is lacy and stippled. In the bone marrow, large number of megaloblastic precursors does not mature enough to be released into the blood and are destroyed in the bone marrow. So this is known as ineffective erythropoiesis. There is also a mild hemolysis of RBC in the peripheral blood, and this causes increase in large amounts of LDH, lactate dehydrogenase, resulting in the raised levels in the blood. So the erythroid precursor cells show reduced number of mitosis and synthesis of hemoglobin is unimpaired. The mature RBCs from this megaloblast are large, which are called macrocytes, and we find them in the peripheral blood smear. So in the bone marrow, there is abnormal proliferation affecting the myeloid series like giant metamyelocytes, and the megakaryocyte series production is also, we find proliferation, and which are results in dysplastic megakaryocytes. So all the rapidly dividing cells of the body exhibit megaloblastic changes, and anemia is only a manifestation of a more generalized defect in DNA synthesis. So megaloblastic anemias are diverse group of anemias characterized by impaired DNA synthesis. So the bottom line is impaired DNA synthesis and distinct morphologic changes in hematopoietic cells. That is, the maturation of nucleus is delayed more than that of the cytoplasm. So there is also another way of classifying macrocytic anemia based on the shape. So macrocytes can be round and macrocytes can be oval also. So where we find round macrocyte, it is called round macrocytosis, as in alcoholism, liver disease and hypothyroidism. And oval macrocytosis, we find oval macrocytes, as in folate or vitamin B12 deficiency, and also in myelodysplastic syndrome. So what are the causes of megaloblastic anemia? We are coming to the megaloblastic causes. So that is mainly due to folate deficiency and vitamin B12 deficiency. So there is an inadequate intake of folate due to poor diet or chronic alcoholism, and also in strict vegetarians there may be vitamin B12 deficiency. There is inadequate absorption, as in malabsorption syndromes like tropical sprue, celiac disease and Crohn's disease. Also for vitamin B12 deficiency, there may be pernicious anemia, gastrectomy, resection of ileum, Crohn's disease, as well as fish tapeworm infestation. Also, there are some cases where there may be increased demand of these vitamins, as in pregnancy, chronic hemolysis and neoplasia. So how do we evaluate a case of macrocytic anemia? So first we have to do the reticulocyte count. So if the reticulocyte count may be increased or decreased, If it is increased, there will be polychromasia and evidence of hemolysis. And this leads to the diagnosis of hemolytic anemia. Okay, and if the reticulocyte count is normal or low, there may be three instances, like we may have oval macrocytes as well as hypersegmented neutrophils. So there we will diagnose the case as megaloblastic anemia. If we find round macrocytes as well as dyshematopoiesis, we will diagnose the case as myelodysplastic syndrome. And if we find only oval macrocytes, then we will diagnose as it may be either due to liver disease, alcoholism, or hypothyroidism. So the differential diagnosis of macrocytic anemia on blood smear, as we can see in the images, this is a image of megaloblastic anemia. See, this is hypersegmented neutrophils. This image is of hemolytic anemia. See, this is an image of nucleated RBC. This is a smear from liver disease, and this is an image of myelodysplastic syndrome. See, this neutrophil has only two lobes. This is called Pelgar-Huet anomaly. So megaloblastic anemia arises from deficiency of either folic acid or vitamin B12, and these are essential for synthesis of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. So in case of deficiency, there will be defective synthesis of DNA in all the proliferating cells in the bone marrow. So, and also vitamin B12 is needed for many neurological functions as well. So in macrocytic anemia, in the absence of vitamin assays and typical features of megaloblastic anemia on blood smear, bone marrow aspiration is advised to distinguish the megaloblastic causes from the non-megaloblastic ones. So how do we evaluate a case of suspected megaloblastic anemia? So there may be hematological abnormalities, like we may find anemia, oval macrocytosis, hypersegmented neutrophils, and the history may also be suggestive. So in these cases, we will suspect it as megaloblastic anemia. So we will do some vitamin assays as well as serum methylmalonic acid test. So if we find low vitamin B12 but normal serum folate, low RBC folate, and increased serum methylmalonic acid, so in that case it will be vitamin B12 deficiency. And if the vitamin B12 is normal but the folate is low both in serum as well as RBC, and serum methylmalonic acid is normal, then it will be a case of folate deficiency. And so the most important thing is that serum methylmalonic acid is said to be more sensitive than measurement of vitamin B12, and it is an early marker of detection of vitamin B12 deficiency. So vitamin B12 and folate are measured in patients with macrocytosis when the MCV is more than 100 femtoliters, macrocytic anemia, or neurological and psychiatric abnormalities. As I said earlier, that vitamin B12, it is also required for neurological functions. So vitamin B12 and folate are measured in patients who have neurological and psychiatric abnormalities. So what are the differences between folate and vitamin B12 deficiency? There are some parameters, like the mechanism of deficiency. So in case of folate, it is inadequate intake, but in case of vitamin B12 deficiency, there is inadequate absorption. Neurological features are absent in folate deficiency. In serum B12, it is low only in vitamin B12 deficiency, whereas serum folate is low in folate deficiency. And RBC folate is low in both folate deficiency as well as vitamin B12 deficiency. Serum homocysteine, it is increased in both folate deficiency as well as vitamin B12 deficiency. Serum methyl malonic acid, it is increased in vitamin B12 deficiency. So these are the few differences. Now how do we find megaloblastic anemia on peripheral smear and bone marrow? What do we do in the laboratory? So there are certain features which are common to all forms of megaloblastic anemia, like blood findings in vitamin B12 and folic acid deficiency are similar and characterized by, as I said earlier, macrocytosis of RBCs and megaloblastosis in bone marrow. So in bone marrow, what do we find? We find megaloblast, and in peripheral smear we find macrocyte. So hemoglobin levels are decreased and usually between 5 to 10 grams per DL. The hematocrit also is decreased. MCV is more than 100 femtoliters. And MCHC remains normal because the hemoglobin content in the cells is proportionately increased, and therefore the MCHC remains normal, but the MCH is increased. RBCs are of variable size, with majority being macrocytic and oval, that is macro-ovalocytes, and these are diagnostic of megaloblastic anemia. So macrocytes, as their name, their macro means they are larger in diameter, thickness and volume. So macrocytes are thicker and well hemoglobinized. So most macrocytes lack the central pallor of normal RBCs and can even appear hyperchromic. So there is marked variation in the size and shape of RBC. So what is it called? It is called anisopoikilocytosis. So what are the features of dyserythropoiesis? So dyserythropoiesis can be manifested by three types. One is basophilic stippling. Basophilic stippling, I will show you the picture also. See, this is an image of basophilic stippling. This is Howell-Jolly bodies, and this is image of Cabot ring. So basophilic stippling appears as blue-black cytoplasmic inclusions and represents peripheral precipitated ribosomal RNA. So basophilic stippling is RNA, whereas Howell-Jolly bodies, they are nuclear remnants and may be observed in few RBCs. And Cabot ring, which stains pink blue, they also represent nuclear remnants. So this is an image of blood smear in megaloblastic anemia showing oval macrocytes and hypersegmented neutrophils. This is an image of bone marrow showing megaloblast and a giant metamyelocyte. And this image, as I showed you earlier also, this is basophilic stippling, this is Howell-Jolly bodies, and this is Cabot's ring. So in case of WBCs, the count is decreased, which is called leukopenia, and they show hypersegmented neutrophils, means 5 to 6 lobes, nuclear lobes are present. So this hypersegmented neutrophil is the first and specific morphologic sign of megaloblastic anemia. So these neutrophils are also larger than normal, and it is called macropolymorphonuclear. Platelets, the count is decreased, thrombocytopenia, and the count can vary also. So this is an image of peripheral blood smear showing macroovalocytes and hypersegmented neutrophils, as we can see here, macroovalocytes and hypersegmented neutrophils. This is a peripheral blood smear of dimorphic anemia. So dimorphic means there are two types of anemias present in the same patient. So here we can see both microcytic hypochromic RBCs as well as macrocytes. Means both microcytic as well as macrocytic anemia is present, so it is called dimorphic anemia. So what are the features in bone marrow? So bone marrow shows characteristic morphologic features. Like cellularity is moderately to markedly hypercellular. That means the count is increased due to proliferating erythroid precursors. And the myeloid erythroid ratio, the normal ratio is 2:1 to 4:1. But in this case, we will find marked erythroid hyperplasia. That is, the ME ratio is reversed to ranging from 1:1 to 1:6. See, myeloid erythroid ratio, this is myeloid, this is erythroid. From here we can get up to 1:6. That means erythroid hyperplasia. And the erythropoiesis is of megaloblastic type in contrast to normal normoblastic type. So megaloblasts are large abnormal counterparts of normal normoblast. Megaloblastic change is detected in all the stages of RBC development. They demonstrate asynchrony of nuclear and cytoplasmic maturation. Asynchrony means the nuclear maturation lags behind and cytoplasmic maturation progresses. That is asynchrony. The chromatin failing to mature, again the cause is impaired DNA synthesis, while the cytoplasm is normally hemoglobinized. So this is an image of bone marrow aspirate where we can see megaloblastic precursors. These are the early megaloblasts. These are megaloblastic precursors in bone marrow. This is another image where we can see hypersegmented neutrophils. So comparison of normoblastic erythropoiesis with the megaloblastic type. See, this is the normoblastic erythropoiesis, how normally RBCs mature, and this is in case of megaloblastic type. So in normoblastic erythropoiesis, there is pronormoblast followed by basophilic normoblast, polychromatic normoblast, orthochromatic normoblast, polychromatic normoblast, and normocytic normochromic. This is normal RBC. But in case of megaloblastic erythropoiesis, we will find promegaloblast, basophilic megaloblast, polychromatic megaloblast, orthochromatic megaloblast, polychromatic macrocyte, and macroovalocyte. So what is ineffective erythropoiesis? It is in an untreated megaloblastic anemia. There is more concentration of primitive cells. Primitive cells means precursor cells. So the late stage megaloblast forms, it dies in the marrow, and it is called ineffective erythropoiesis or intramedullary hemolysis. Ineffective erythropoiesis is the term used for erythropoiesis in which there is death of developing erythroid cells at the site of production and or production of non-viable RBCs. So another term is dyserythropoiesis. One is ineffective, another is dyserythropoiesis. It means dys means abnormal. This means abnormal. Abnormal erythropoiesis with bizarre bone marrow morphology and ineffective erythropoiesis. So the erythropoiesis in the megaloblast demonstrates the following morphological features. So in the cytoplasm we will find Howell-Jolly bodies and abnormal hemoglobinization, whereas in the nucleus we will find irregular nuclear borders due to nuclear budding, nuclei joined by bridge, internuclear bridging and abnormal mitosis. So these are the features of dyserythropoiesis in megaloblast. In case of myelopoiesis, the myeloid cells, they appear adequate in number, but in the patients with severe anemia, they will show neutropenia, because DNA synthesis is impaired in all the proliferating cells due to deficiency. As I said that for DNA synthesis both vitamin B12 and folate is needed. So in their deficiency, the DNA synthesis is impaired in all the proliferating cells. The granulocytic precursors also display nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony in the form of giant metamyelocytes and band forms. So in megaloblastic anemia, we will get giant metamyelocytes and band cells. Megakaryocytes are normal or increased in number. They may be abnormally large and may have bizarre multilobate nuclei with open nuclear chromatin. In pure vitamin B12 or folic acid deficiency, bone marrow iron is increased moderately. Next, coming to pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia is a chronic disease resulting from deficiency of intrinsic factor causing impaired absorption of vitamin B12 and eventually causes megaloblastic anemia. So the changes in bone marrow and blood are similar to those described for all types of megaloblastic anemias. So this is a very important chart. This here I have enumerated the causes of non-megaloblastic macrocytic anemia. So the macrocytic megaloblastic causes are vitamin B12 and folate deficiency, but these are non-megaloblastic causes. Physiologically, it occurs in pregnancy and in newborns. And pathological causes are excessive alcohol usage, chronic liver disease, reticulocytosis, hypothyroidism, post-splenectomy, myeloproliferative disorders, and in various hematological disorders like aplastic anemia, sideroblastic anemia, pure red cell aplasia, and also caused by drugs such as azathioprine and hydroxycarbamide. So this is very important in the exam. You may be asked that what are the non-megaloblastic causes of macrocytic anemia. So you have to enumerate all the causes.